I finished college in 2005,
Mhm.
and I had a degree in journalism. I went to school
Mhm.
to get a degree initially in communications, and then like halfway through, I was like, I don't even know what communications was. The thing is, like college to me, I just thought this is how out of it I was in high school. I just thought you like decided to go to a college and you went, right? I didn't know there was like an acceptance thing. So my girlfriend was like, "Have you applied to colleges?" I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh
Right?
gosh.
So like I was totally out of it. So but I knew I love sports, I love basketball and stuff. So I went to school to major in communications because I thought communications was like broadcasting, but I
Mhm.
found out there was this thing called broadcasting that you could be a part of, and TVs and radio and stuff. So I went and I finally got a degree in journalism after being in college for 6 years. Took a year off to do stuff, and then another year for slam ball and stuff. It was nuts. Anyways, so I finished college with a degree in journalism, and was like, "Well, what do you want to do? Let's figure this thing out." And I the idea of creating stuff online was non-existent. So
Mhm.
I knew I could probably like move to Rhode Island and call like single A baseball games, or go to Topeka, Kansas, and call some like minor league baseball or basketball game or something, and wait for somebody to die, and eventually like slowly move up the ranks, right? Um, or I could talk. I had a buddy at the time. His name was Tom, or TJ, that I played basketball with. We knew each other since high school, and he was like my basketball buddy, and both into video games. So I was like, was always into radio. I was like, well, let's do a radio show about video games. Nobody's doing a radio show about video games. I can't find it anywhere. Um, so we started with this idea of doing a radio show about video games, and we this was like in late 2005. We did like some rehearsals, and we like did test shows. And by test shows, I mean like we got a audio recording device and one microphone, and we passed it back and forth to each other as we talked. And so it started with just like the idea of this radio show, which later found out was called podcast online, and podcasting wasn't nearly what it was today. It was like its infancy, and so we started with this podcast, and then we made this trip down to Mexico with our girlfriends. A couple months into it, and at this time we had the website ScrewAttack, but it wasn't like one of those things where I knew this was going to be a business. Like I wanted it to be a business. I just didn't know what it was yet. And we went down to Mexico, and we did a couple videos where we talked about like what was happening. We talked about video game culture down there. Went to some video game stores. Probably the most infamous one is it was really kind of random. We got out our camcorder, we handed it to our girlfriends. We saw there was like street performers down on the, walking around. And we went out and we bought a couple Speedos and some luchador masks. And we walked around Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in Speedos and luchador masks. And we're like getting all this attention and everything. And like we had bars like pulling us in and giving us shots and stuff. And because we were like the attraction, right? We're just these two gringos walking around. And we got done that night, and we're like, that was really fun. Like we
Mhm.
should do that all the time, because we'd videotaped it, and we're like, we can make a video out of this and put it on the website. And that's kind of where the idea of ScrewAttack and videos and video games and kind of this cultural thing happened. So to say like, how did you, long story short, like I said, how did I know I wanted to start ScrewAttack? I just knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was going to be. I probably didn't know till about a year into it what ScrewAttack was, or what it was going to be, or
Mhm.
what I wanted it to be. Initially, it was just, let's just talk about video games, and we'll talk about our favorite old games, and it just kind of morphed over time, because there was no playbook for creating content
Mhm.
at the time. There was no YouTube. YouTube was a place where you found cat videos and guys getting hit in the balls. It was like,
The great
so
old days.
right, it was awesome, right? And the idea of making money making videos online was like the only way you could do that was to essentially like make a DVD and sell it. You had to make the videos, put them online, pay for the hosting. There was no, there was no YouTube to post it on. And there certainly wasn't a way to make money on YouTube. So we had to get really creative early on how to make a living.